Anthony today in Dallas, Texas. And Cindy has spends a good part of her year. She lives in Dallas, but she also spends a lot of time in France. So today she's going to share with us the particular region that she is in and one of the specialties that they have. So Cindy, go ahead and tell us about that region and what it is that you're sharing with us today.
Well, thank you, Cindy. Yes, we have a home in the southwestern corner of France, and there are a lot of wonderful local products that I really enjoy cooking with. And one of them is the pink garlic of Lautrec. Lautrec is a pretty small village, but their main crop is growing the pink garlic of Lautrec. And it's a delicious, sweet garlic. It's big cloves, and it is so mild that you can really grate it fresh and use it in salads or in other sauces. But I chose today to show you how to make pink garlic soup in the tradition of this village. One thing that we really enjoyed when we first arrived was visiting the village of Lautrec during their annual garlic festival, which is quite a big do. People come from all around. There are parades. There's the king of garlic and the princess of garlic. And the highlight is making a huge vat of garlic soup, which is they have in the center square of the village, and everyone attending the festival can come and sample the garlic soup. They make it for 3,000 people. Today I'm making garlic soup for 6 people. What we start with is just minced onion and fresh garlic. And one thing I wanted to show you that I've really enjoyed using or learning about since I spent time in France is this garlic press. If you don't have one, they're very handy. You just take your cloves and pop it in there like that, and then put this press on it, give it a squeeze. Ooh, and it comes out perfectly minced, and it makes it really easy to cook with. So the ingredients are the minced onion, garlic. Here I have about the equivalent of about 20 cloves of garlic, kind of medium-sized cloves. Water that we're going to mix with this better than bouillon, which I like in order to make a good chicken broth. And then the yolks and the whites of 4 eggs that I have separated. So I think we're ready to move to the stove.
All right, let's move to
start the cooking.
Great, and we even have a French pot that we're going to be cooking in.
Okay, well, I'm going to start just with the minced onion. It's maybe half to 3/4 of a cup, maybe 1 medium onion. I'm just going to let these, I already heated up a little bit of olive oil, just maybe less than a tablespoon. You want to be careful not to let the garlic brown too much, because then it will get too strong. So you just want to cook it long enough to soften the onion, and it's actually cooking very quickly. It smells like garlic. And as that's cooking, the next thing we're going to do is make a broth. I'm starting with 4 cups of water. I'll add a total of 6 cups. And then several spoons of this better than bouillon that I like to use to make a good strong chicken broth. You can also use regular real chicken broth, but I like this product a lot. So that's getting pretty soft. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 4 cups of water. Oops. And 2 more cups. And for 6 cups of water, 2 big spoonfuls. And this is pretty salty, so you really don't need to add any other salt to this soup. Just keep cooking and simmer for 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, so while our soup is cooking, another specialty of the region is the Roquefort cheese. So tell us about that, Cindy.
Okay, thank you. Well, Roquefort cheese is considered the king of cheese in France, and it was the first cheese to actually have an AOC appellation, and you usually think of AOC about wine, but it means appellation d'origine contrôlée. So it means that there are very strict rules as to how you can make the wine or the cheese. And in the case of Roquefort, the milk has to come from a certain breed of sheep, the Lautrec sheep. Then those sheep have to be raised in a radius of 60 miles of the village of Roquefort. The milk has to be collected and delivered to the cheesemaking, the house of cheese, within 24 hours. And at that point, it is treated with rennet and with a special bacteria called Penicillium roqueforti. And there's a kind of a hokey but fun legend that it was first discovered by a shepherd who was in one of the Roquefort caves and took a break and ate his sandwich of rye bread and cheese. Well, he saw a beautiful shepherdess wandering by, so he followed her out of the cave. And he came back 3 or 4 weeks later to discover that his sandwich had grown mold, but in the cheese were these beautiful blue veins, which are typical of Roquefort cheese. So that is how they say the legend of how Roquefort cheese was first discovered. That probably isn't true, but it makes for a nice tale.
It's a nice love story.
Yes, it is. So today I decided to make a little salad that kind of highlights the Roquefort cheese. And also another lettuce that we eat often in France is endive. So I started with some just little leaves of green and red endive, which I've arranged on the plate.
And this is so beautiful. I don't know if you can see this well, but it really looks like a flower the way she's had it arranged.
Well, it's
almost too pretty to eat.
It's very simple. So to that, we've just chopped up a little bit of red apple. These are Honeycrisp apple. I think it has a nice crisp tart flavor. So I just sprinkle those on top, and you could do this is a salad that will serve 3 or 4, but you could do it individually or however you like. And if you don't find endive, you're fine with romaine, whatever, the kind of lettuce doesn't matter. It's really just what looks nice for presentation. Okay, next I have just some little candied walnuts. Well, and here in Texas you could use pecans too, but they don't grow pecans in France, so I'm using walnuts. And then our wonderful Roquefort cheese, and you can see it's there are lots of kinds of blue cheeses, but true Roquefort is really creamier and richer and has this beautiful blue-green veining. Here in the US, we're very refrigerator conscious, and we serve cheeses quite cold. A cheese like this and most French cheeses, you should always get out of the fridge at least an hour before you're going to serve them, because they're just so much more tasty when they're served at room temperature. Creamy cheeses are creamier, and the Roquefort just develops much richer flavor as it's been sitting out.
That is so good to know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like letting wine sit out. Get your wine and your cheese out about the same time.
Yes. Okay, then next, this is just for color, pomegranate seeds. Get sprinkled over the top. And then the final thing, this is one of my very favorite products. It's walnut oil. It's expensive. I got this at Central Market, but it's worth every penny because it doesn't take much, and it has such a wonderful walnut flavor.
Wow, this is just absolutely beautiful. If it tastes as beautiful as it is.
Well, we'll see. Then a grinded pepper. Voila.
Voila. So much for doing this today. I'm very honored that you were willing to share your love of France. Thank you so much. And now you're a Texicurian, so you're very own.
Oh, I love that. I never have enough aprons. So thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate it. I love being a Texan. We've been here now for almost 40 years. I didn't know what I was getting into when we first moved to Texas, but I have grown to love it as a place to raise a family and a place to have a business. It's a big state that offers so much in terms of variety of geography and culture and the arts, and so I just love everything that the state has to offer. What I love about Dallas is the people. There are native Dallasites, people who have are second, third generation Texans who are so proud of the city and the state. And then there are people from all over the world. So it really is an international city, and you can find the food and the arts and music from all over the world here. So I really enjoy having the chance to take part in all of that.